Hey, my name is Jeff Finley, and this is the Wake Up, the morning routine that will change your life. And I want to talk about some of the common excuses that I hear when we talk about waking up early. People say, I would love to wake up early, Jeff, but I can't because, and then they give me a list of excuses. Number one excuse is, I don't have time. I hardly get enough sleep as it is, and I can't wake up early. Or I've tried to wake up early, but I can't. I'm too tired in the morning. My brain is all foggy. I keep hitting the snooze, and there's no way I would never wake up early. Oh my gosh. I know people like that. And I'm sure you know people like that, and you might be like that yourself. But if you are watching this video, you are light years beyond other people who will refuse to wake up early. So, and that's okay because they are living their life with their own purpose. But for you, you've decided that waking up early is something that you're thinking about. But I want to talk about all these common excuses. So that not having enough time. We all have 24 hours in a day. We all choose how we spend that time. I mean, it comes up to priorities. And I know that's not a very sensitive answer. It's pretty logical. But how do you spend your 24 hours in a day? Are you in control of how those hours are spent, or are you relinquishing your own control, your own power to create the life you desire to other people? And we all do that to some extent. We all will allow other people's priorities into our life, but sometimes it can get out of control. Like, we obviously have to take care of our family, of our relationships, of our job and people that matter to us, and take care of our responsibilities. But it comes to a point when we do that so much that we lose a part of ourselves. We lose ourselves completely in that. And we feel spread thin. We feel like other people's priorities are much more important than my life. But that's got to change. That has to change. Your life should be your top priority. Your personal development, your happiness, your fulfillment in life is your top priority. If it's not, make that your top priority. Other people, caring for other people is good. But not at the expense of yourself. And that's not necessarily a selfish thing, that's a self-love thing. Okay, so let's get into other excuses. Let me scroll down here. The most common excuses: not enough time. We talked about that. I'm not a morning person. Well, obviously, if you were a morning person, you probably wouldn't even have this book. We're all night owls, mostly the people who are reading this book. I'm a night owl myself. I naturally gravitate towards staying up later and later and later. I love after midnight working on stuff. It's all quiet. I go for walks out after around 11 o'clock at night. But you don't have to be a morning person. I think that notion of being a morning person is kind of, well, who cares? But you don't have to be a morning person. That's what this book's for. And if you're a night owl and you're doing this, you're going to get more of a benefit because it's something completely different. It's a big change for you. So you're going to get to see more of a benefit, more of a change in your life. Lack of self-discipline. And so I know that having the willpower to wake up early is really challenging, and it's not going to work. That's why we have to work on habits. Making the wake up early into a habit instead of just trying to muscle yourself into doing it or discipline yourself into doing it every time, that's not going to work. That's why we do it through habit change. Habits are autopilot. It makes it so when we wake up, we don't have to think too hard, and we automatically do what we programmed ourselves to do. We give ourselves the space to have free will and do what we want, but it prevents us from having that dreadful decision. Should I get out of bed now? I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, that's what habits are for. And the other problem people have is they keep hitting the snooze over and over and over again. I mean, when I was hitting the snooze, I would do the same thing. I would actually set my alarm like a half hour earlier than what I needed to get up because I wanted to hit snooze several more times. And I never thought it was a problem until I started realizing what I was setting myself up for. It's like I was starting the day by procrastinating and putting things off, and I dreaded waking up in the morning. So when I woke up early, I created a morning that I looked forward to experiencing, which was filled with things I wanted to do, things that I liked, that were not related to my job or to expectations of others. It was things that mattered to me. and that was meditation and reading books and watching videos. I started by watching TV, like a TV show that I wanted to watch and keep up with. So that's how I tricked myself into getting up early. The I'm too tired excuse. Well, I know. I mean, so many of us don't get enough sleep as it is, so the idea of carving out even more time, losing sleep to wake up early seems dreadful. And you will likely lose some sleep in the beginning of your habit until you adjust. When I started waking up early, I was going to bed at 2, 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and then I started setting my alarm for 6:30. That is not much sleep. That's 4.5, 5.5 hours of sleep. And then I would drink coffee. That helped. And I was so excited about my morning routine and the novelty of it all that my first week was really easy. I got up early the first day and I had my routine planned out, and it was incredible. Like, I had all this energy, and then I got so excited during the day. I'd accomplished all this stuff, so I had all this energy. But then it caught up to me when I wasn't getting much sleep, and then I started to get burnt out and tired, and that's when I adjusted my bedtime routine. I started naturally getting tired around midnight and 11. Another common excuse is my family makes it difficult. So if we live with other people, like a lot of us do, whenever you change your sleeping schedule or your habits like this, it definitely affects the people around us, and you need to have their support. If it's causing issues between you and your partners or the people you live with, then have a good conversation about it. This is where communication is really important. And so I know that sometimes people have told me that they've got kids that wake them up in the middle of the night, and it's hard to get a decent night's sleep. And this is I don't have kids. I can't really relate to that. I mean, I sympathize with it because a lot of people I know do have kids, and that's what they tell me. But you're the adult in this situation, and you do have control over your life. If you want to change, you will change. If you want to wake up early, and that's important to you, you will do it. If you fully believe that you are powerless and you are a slave to your children and you have no control over your time or your schedule, then I think you should work on your empowerment feeling empowered, and working towards taking back control of your life and allowing yourself to have the privilege of choosing your own schedule or your own priorities most of the time or some of the time. Okay, and the next thing is I can't keep the habit. And this is something that's tough because while we're really rocking and rolling, we're really good in the beginning of the habit, then all of a sudden we start to fade, our enthusiasm diminishes. And this happens to me all the time. I create a habit and I'm awesome at it in the beginning, and then I rebel against my habit later on, and I don't want to do it anymore. This is when I recognize that I have to shake things up and change, because the habit that maybe worked for me 2 weeks ago is no longer the thing that's changing me, right? I'm just kind of staying the same now. I'm continuing the habit, and it becomes a daily grind. And to avoid that burnout, that's why we shake things up and constantly reevaluate what we want, what we are shooting for. And we have to remind ourselves regularly of what our main purpose is, why we're doing this, and tell ourselves regularly what we're getting out of it. What's the benefit that we're experiencing from waking up early? So there's things that you can do, like keeping a journal about it, and maybe one day going out for breakfast, or going to a different park outside, or watching a different show that you're enthusiastic about. Tricking yourself, getting up early and changing it up. So those are the most common excuses. What excuses do you find yourself giving yourself? What do you say? Why can't you wake up early? What are your excuses? And write about that in your journal. Think about it. And what are your own solutions to your excuses? You know what it is that you need to do. So work on it, and know that you're not alone. Everyone has these excuses, but the point is to love yourself and care for yourself. Don't beat yourself up because of if you feel like you're not having a good success with the habits and stuff like that. Don't beat yourself up, because the whole point is to practice self-love and self-care. And that's what this is all about anyway. If you're really feeling like you can't wake up early and you really want to sleep in. Get back on the wagon when you want to, not because you have to. So that's my advice.